Stash shop goodies for your perusal are the set of 24 Talon's Art Creations pencils. That was last Sunday's video. These are great starter pencils and they're also good as travel pencils as well. You can watch the review. I'll leave the link to that down in the description. And also the subject of today's very video, I have a plethora of acrylic paint markers, and these are the Artful markers that we're going to be using today to create our artwork. These will be up for grabs. They're really good quality, and again there's quite a nice selection, and they come in this beautiful little bag as well. So if either of those tickle your fancy, you can head over to this stash shop, grab yourself a little bargain and maybe a wee cheap paintbrush or sketchbook while you're there. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem and I am really excited about this video. I've been looking forward to doing this for ages. So today we are back in our Artful box, and this is the box with the paint marker, so that was the last available box to us. Today, if I just move this out of the way, we're going straight for the big boys. We are going to tackle the advanced tutorial, which is fish on a glass. Now, I haven't got around to this because I had trouble locating some frames. I think I have cracked it and these are the frames. If not, it will be similar to what we need. So I'm going to open these up and show you. I kind of was wondering what the purpose of these was, because it doesn't do much explaining here. It just says, oh, you'll be able to buy them. I think the original intention for these frames is to have a floating photograph. So the idea is basically that you sandwich your photograph in between the two layers of glass and it looks as if it's suspended inside the box. I think that was the original idea behind them. So this is a pack of two. I got these really cheap on Amazon. Oh, okay. Oh, these have actually got pictures in them. I got these as a pack of two on Amazon. They were really cheap. I think it was £20 for two of them. There's a slot in the side here, so if we just pop this out, you can see that there's two panes of glass here. The ones in the tutorial are hinged. I don't suppose it matters if they're actually hinged or not, but we are going to be painting onto the glass, and because we've got two layers of glass, then it's going to give us a bit more of a 3D effect. That is the idea. So this is going to be interesting, and I think that reflections are going to be a problem today. You can that is the camera up there. I shouldn't have told you that because now you wouldn't be able to unsee it. I'll try and adjust everything accordingly just so that we've got what we need. We are going to do this. I'm quite excited about this. I don't know about you. The tutorial in the middle, that was one of the other ones that was popular, the Infinity Scene Zine. I am going to do this and I'm going to do it in a live stream. That will be a general live stream and I'll announce that in the next couple of days. I thought it might be quite nice to do a tutorial live, just for a little change. So keep your eye on the community tab for a post regarding our next general live stream. But for today, let's get down to business. So it says here the skill level is advanced. Let's zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. The skill level is advanced and they're saying 90 minutes. To me that probably means 2 hours, truthfully, by the time I explain as we go along. Tools needed down the bottom here: Artful paint markers, having the bag here, the glass frame, which I've just shown you, pencil, scissors, paintbrushes and mixing palette. So I have got my acrylic paintbrushes here, some of which are Artful brushes, some of which are not, and I've got an entire tub of pencils just out of shot up to the left there. Oh, I've got thread. Oh no. I should have scissors somewhere as well. Scissors. I don't know what I need the scissors for. Let's start at the beginning. This tutorial focuses on a transparent base material which is multi-layered, allowing for an equal multi-layered approach to creating the artwork. These sorts of glass box frames are easy enough to buy online. It comprises of 2 sheets of glass taped together to create a hinge. When it slides into the frame, the tape is hidden. I don't see why you need the tape, honestly. You'd be just sliding the glass panels up anyway. Right, it started with a sketch. Start with a simple outline of a goldfish drawn onto paper. Place this below the bottom frame of the glass, allowing you to effectively trace within the lines on top of the glass. Using the orange and yellow pens, you can put down your first elements of cover while the paint is still wet. You can mix the two colours together to create versions of tone which aren't available alone. So step 1 then, go draw a fish. The first little thought that I'm having is in the magazine here, the frame is this way. How do we feel about turning it, oh hey, how do we feel about turning it into portrait? Because in my head, I always kind of lean towards like slightly chubby animals when I'm drawing them, and it's just something I really like doing because I like curves and round parts. So I was thinking that maybe we could do like a fancy veil tail goldfish. You know, the ones that have got the really long tail fins. Kind of what springs to mind is Cleo from the original Pinocchio film. I don't know why. But yeah, I thought that might be fun. And then we can really make use of the length rather than just messing about. Because this is a smaller frame. So I think I'll just put very roughly the corners so I know like where my boundaries are, sort of thing. That's probably a good idea. See, this is advanced. Right, that's good. Good, good. My next problem is not really used to drawing fat goldfish, but we gonna try. These are the ones that when you see them in the tank, they don't swim. They kind of like wiggle because they've got these really little like short fat bodies. Right, that's going to be too high up. This is going to be one fancy ass goldfish and slightly to this side. And ours is going to have a wee snub face. It's like their tail was added on by accident kind of thing. And they've got these great big dorsal fins that are like sails. Because yeah, I'm thinking you'd have two fins on the front. Two tail fins that is, and then maybe two at the back there. Okay, so place this below the bottom frame of the glass. I'm not convinced that this is clean enough to do this. Yeah, see now I've got the joy, even though I'm really bad at centering images when I'm drawing, at least I can move this about here to make sure that it's fairly even top and bottom, and I would say about there. Let's grab the pens first. Be mindful, I'm down here now, be mindful to have a sheet of paper nearby to remove the additional colour from the nip. Oh, here we go again. We've already had the nip conversation, haven't we? When you want to clean it up. Also, the paint dries quite quickly and becomes tacky, so ensure that your mixing of colours happens before it dries, otherwise you get some strange textures. Okay, I think I'm going to want some white as well, to be honest. So let's start off with some solid areas of orange. Oh, right, okay, so we're going to have to hang on to the glass. I'll give her some gills here. 100%, and I think it's the Cleo thing. 100% this goldfish is a girl. Like, absolutely. Like, I'm thinking I maybe just want to get the body down pat first. I really don't have much of the way of instruction here, but that's I suppose that's going to happen when it's an advanced tutorial. Right, okay, so I think that's where I want my body to leave off. I wish my own body would leave off. Oh, so many jokes. Again, doing this while it's wet. And I'm going to grab the white here as well. Oh, this is really mixing the colours up and I'm not mad about it. Just for the record, I am just making this up as I go along. There's no planning or thought processes involved here. I'm especially enjoying making a mess with these markers though. Kind of regret this orange line now, but it's the white's tinting it quite nicely. Oh yeah, and I can clean it off here. This is giving us a strange texture. See if I zoom in a little bit there. Can you see it's creating a sort of like veiny texture? I am not mad about that at all. That's actually kind of helpful. Happy accidents. I don't want to flood any of the areas. Honestly, I'm not brave enough. I prefer to go the slowly catchy monkey routine that we've got going on here. This is one fat fish. Right, I'm just going to go over the page. I want to see how much we're supposed to have done by now. We're really not supposed to have anything done. Keep layering up the shades. Oh, we're up here. I can just show you the picture there as well. You can just see these snippets here. Keep layering up the shades of orange and yellow. If you need to flood an area, push down on the pen while it's on the glass, allowing you to spread the colour very fluidly. Well, that's nice. Let the orange layers dry. Well, we've kind of got a bit of everything. I'll try and avoid that area if I can. Let's see what happens if I do. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, like we can get a much smoother transition here and much more vibrant colour also by doing this way. I imagine that this will stay wetter for a bit longer as well, just because we have actually flooded that. Yeah, this is definitely going to give you better mixing, the flooding technique. is working much better there, you can see. Yeah, okay. Oh, I think I'm going to struggle with the texture aspect here. I don't know if I should maybe have been working in smaller areas. Yeah, see, that seems to be much smoother. Okay, we've got the chance to build this up though. I just wanted to show you this nib here. You can see it's cleaned up beautifully. As long as you clean it off where you need to, then that's absolutely fine. Layer up any, so basically we need to wait for this to dry now. After this is dry, we can layer up any areas that need additional colour over the dried orange. You can see here adding some additional yellow to an area which needed it. Often an image will need colours which you don't think are there or should even be there. My fish had some darker areas including other blue tones, so using a mixing palette, the white and the pale blue pen, I mixed up a new blue and used my finger to apply the colour in a different texture. There is quite a lot of texture involved in this, but I kind of like it. Working back over this with the orange pen allows me to tidy up specific areas. Okay, so like spot fixing, a bit like using a correction pen. Okay, while that's going on, I'm going to try and figure out the mechanics of what we're going to do here with this other layer of glass. In the tutorial, it just says that they flip the glass. Now that can be because they're taped together, you know, like you would flip a notebook or something. What my plan is here, I'm just going to try and explain myself a little bit. This is the pane of glass. I'm going to have to give this a clean, there's fingerprints all over it. Oh, this is the pane of glass that is going to sit over the top of this image. So the protective layer, if you like. What I want to do is I want to paint a fin, a front fin on this pane of glass, but on that side. That's going to give us like a sort of 3D option, if you like. So you can see there, I've literally just drawn a line under the glass. So that's on that side, not this side. And I've just lined it up roughly to where I want that fin to be, because now I'm going to have to flip this over so that I can work on it. So while that's drying, I'm going to move this out of the way. Like, if you're going to do something like this, we might as well, you know, really have fun with it. So in this image, this fin's actually curving this way because it's a mirror image, we're flipping it over. If I just show you this again, obviously I'm going to have to wait till this is dry, but if I flip this back over now and I pop that on top, you can see where that's going to sit, and it's going to look as if we've got that little extra fin. This is one of the front fins and it's going to sit just under the gills. I just realised it's easier for you to see this if I have it just straight onto the desk. So I do want to add a little bit of orange there while this is still wet. I'm being very careful with my strokes here though, because I want this for a very specific purpose, obviously. And I'll come back in a little while once this is dried off and we can see where to go from here. Right, so we're not 100% dry, but we're more or less dry. If I take the under layer of the paper away, you can just see how thin this paint layer is. But that's looking fairly decent. You can see I've still got a tiny wet patch here. So as a first layer, especially that there's no eye, this looks a little bit freaky deaky. But what I'm more interested in, because I'm basically just going to build up layers now, maybe not flood it like this, but I will be building up layers. What I want to show you is this layer here. So this is the top sheet of glass, and I've also added in an extra tail fin. So when I flip this over now and I line this up with this glass, you can see when it sits on top there, I just pin these together, you've got an extra layer and a bit of added dimension, because you can clearly see this is going to sit on top. What we're going to do as well for another layer of dimension is we're going to flip this whole thing over, and we are actually going to put the back fins on to this side as well, so that we've got like a really, really multi-layered piece of work here. And this is what I was excited about, like this is what I really wanted to do. So on this back side now, I want to do the same thing with the tail. Yeah, so I'm going to bring something out here just to give us that added dimension. And then maybe we'll have it down just a little bit down there. So that's going to give us a pretty good shape. And then just as we did before, now I'm deliberately using these long line strokes because that's the kind of texture you've got on the fins. I don't really want to have to do multiple layers on these extra bits. I want to concentrate that on the body. So if we just take our time a little bit here, and then I can use this orange here. What's going on at the top here isn't that important because that's not going to be seen. It's more these extra parts here that are sticking out the side. Turn it round so you can see there's just this very slight hint of what's going on in at the back there. So that has layered up quite nicely. I'm quite happy with that. And we're going to add in this front fin here as well. So this one's going to be yellow the same as the other one, so I can still actually see the front fin through. Because we haven't done a lot with this middle layer yet, I have enough there that I can see what was going on as well. Maybe actually just exaggerate that a little bit, like pull it out just for the benefit of the viewer at the front. So if I turn this over now, look, you can see it in the back as well. It's so cool. Like, this is what I wanted to do. This is the fun part. So let's flip these over now and just take this back off. I am going to clean these up with some glass cleaner. You can see my dirty mitts have been all over it everywhere. We will get that cleaned up before we do anything crazy. So while this is drying, obviously we've got to wait for this underside to dry now. I'm going to put in the eye. So we don't, this is one thing we're missing in this set, is a black pen. And I could mix all the colours together to get black, but let's not torture ourselves too much for the sake of a YouTube video. Okay, so I just grabbed the first black marker that I came to, which happens to be a wee Toti Posca. This is a 1M Posca. So I'm going to draw the actual pupil in on the back part of this glass here, and then I'm going to put the highlight on the front of the glass. Okay, so we'll just leave that to do its own thing. We'll leave it to dry. And just round this gill area here, this is where I'm going to be starting the gills. What I'd like to do there is just put in a couple of areas that are dark, and then I want to flood this back part here. And it'll explain why I'm doing this in just a second. Just let me finish off what I'm doing here. Okay, so that's quite a thick layer of paint on the back side. One of the techniques that comes up in this tutorial, once we get past this dealing with the front part, on the next page here there's a part about scratching off some of your paint to reveal what's underneath. So rather than wait until afterwards, I'm doing that now while I'm working on the flip side of this particular pane of glass, just to save me a job later. So again, I'm going to leave this to dry. I'm actually going to go and take Pip and Jock for a walk just now while this is drying. Use the time effectively and productively. By the time I come back, this should be nice and dry, and we're going to flip this over and we're going to start to work on the actual main part of the fish. Okay, we're back again. I've been thinking about this top layer of glass, and I'm really quite taken with this whole situation. If I pile this up now, you can see the depth of the in behind fin versus the original art versus this top sheet of glass as well. I want to do a bit more. Like, I really want to make this a lot more than what I intentionally set out to be. I've kind of like thrown the tutorial manual out the window at this point. One of the things I want to do is make the lips and the area around the eye, which is quite bulbous in some fancy goldfish, I want to make that obvious from the particular characteristics are raised. It's not very easy to see on this camera just because of the reflections, but the black of the eye that's on the very back looks really good from here. Like, you can see that it's not on the same plane as the rest of the paint as well. The first thing I've got to do is give myself a guideline, because obviously we're going on the wrong side of the paper. So if I draw on this side and draw the lip area that I want to exaggerate on this part, and what we can do then is we can leave that to dry, and once it's dry we can flip it over and we can just trace it on the other side because it's already there, and then we can just wipe this off on the front. So again, we'll leave that to dry. I'll pop that up out the way. So in the meantime here, I've done everything I need to do on this back side. So this was the area here. The eye, these little lines for the gills. So I want to work away on this side again. So bear in mind we have marker down here, so we're going to have to be quite careful what we decide we want to do. I do find it easier to see it against the dark of the table, so I'm going to lay this down very carefully because I don't want to scratch off what's on the back, because that's quite easily done. But we obviously have work to do here, quite a substantial amount of work. So I'm going to get going with this. I like that I can see some of the white through what's going on here though. So I'm going to treat the tail as a separate entity now. And it's interesting to see that this is drying much darker, because this is the same pen that I'm using here. So I just kind of want to fill this in and make it a bit more solid. And I can see that that's actually taken off some of the paint underneath without trying. So this is not going to be a great endeavour. I think I might want to try and mix this with a brush. I might regret this decision. I've got quite a soft brush here, so maybe if I just make it damp. Oh, hells to the no. Okay, that's taking the whole lot off. I definitely don't want to be doing that. Okay, so let's just work away with these. Y'all did see that though, didn't you? I'm trying to be as light-handed as possible here. I kind of want this bit to be see-through, but just not as see-through as it is. It's too see-through. I'll maybe add in a couple of, yeah, like just like this. I suppose I just really want to try and make this a little bit less uneven here. I don't want the goldfish looking as if it's got holes in its tail, you know? And I want this very definite line down here. Like I want to keep that. It's really difficult to not take off the paint that's underneath though. Really struggling with that. Like I feel as if I'm gonna have to do like little teeny tiny repair jobs here. I really shouldn't be spinning this round either. That's a problem. That's kind of working in my favour because it's giving me a good contrast between the areas that I want to look a bit more transparent. Oh, again, weird textures, weird textures. I cannot go any more gently than I am doing. That's not technically possible. If I go any lighter, I won't be touching the glass anymore. Going back to my orange now. Now on the bottom of the body here, I need to try and cover in all my gaps, which I'm going to try and do really carefully. Okay, let's stop touching things. I don't want to make things any worse. I'm quite happy with the pattern I've got going on now here. This is, yeah, that's cheered me up slightly. So again, I'll switch plates here, or panes plates. That's my scientific days coming out. You know, these would be really big plates, so you wouldn't put that under the microscope. Okay, so if you remember, we kind of drawn this is like our tracing lines, if you like. So if I flip this over onto the side that's got the paint on it, I am just basically, for the circle here, which is the eye, I'm just going to follow that round. That's going to look pretty cool. And this strange mark here is the lips. Then just follow that line. I'm going to take that in a little bit. I felt that the orange was a bit much there. So if I just do that, oh, that might be the best idea. I absolutely love this little one pen. So good. Right, okay, so let's rub it off this side. And as you can see, well, this was orange on this side. I can take that away. And then, as I say, we'll polish it up properly when we're finished. But we'll give it a wee rub just now. So that's us. We're back to having no paint on this side. It's a little bit like a duck. And we'll leave that to dry now also. The other wee touch that I want to pop in here as well on this particular sheet. I've put the other one over on the windowsill in the sunshine. See if we can get it dried a little bit quicker. I want to put the highlights for the eyes on the reverse of the top glass as well. I want to make sure I've got a really good sensible paint flow before I do this. Two little dots side by side, nice and clean. Leave that to dry as well. We'll get there. Righty, McHo-ho. We're nearly dry. There's still a little wet patch there, but we'll work around it. This one's more or less dry. Right, okay, so first job on the agenda here is, let me pop this back down. Oh, we've come so far since our sketch, which feels like it was days ago, but it was actually only like a couple of hours ago. Let's take a look back at our tutorial magazine now and see what it says. Kind of lost the plot a wee bit there. Right, we finished this page, didn't we? I know that. Like most Goldfish, our reference image has some interesting markings. I didn't use a reference image. Does that make me an idiot? Adding some white, blah, blah, blah. Laid up any areas that need additional colour. Okay, we've kind of done that too. Right, time to go off piste. Often an image will need colours which you don't think are there, even should be there. My fish has some darker areas, including some blue tones. So use a mixing palette, the white and the pale blue pen. I mix up a new blue and use my finger to apply this colour in a different texture. Okay, the finger method should work better now because we have, you know, like a couple of layers of paint down. That should be pretty good. So I'm not going to use blue though. I want to use purple. Let's see how this goes. Guys, this feels like a marathon today. I keep getting interrupted. I started this video this morning and it's now 2 in the afternoon. Blue pen, that's what we're going to do. So I've got my little palette here, except I decided I wasn't going to use blue. I decided I was going to use purple because we've got this lovely kind of like lilac-y colour. I've got this little ceramic palette here. Sploosh a little bit of this on here. I will not be adding white to it either. I'm not really sure what my finger is going to do to this. Beautiful artwork, but I got paint on my finger. I might even just tap it out a little bit. Oh yeah! Jock's doing some kind of like bed making gymnastics underneath me, if you can hear him scrabbling about. That's actually very delicate. I like it a lot. Yeah, I'm actually into this quite substantially now. Like, yeah, The fact that it's got a little bit of like my finger texture as well just kind of sets it off a bit more. Yeah, I'm into that. Okay. Working back over this with the orange pen allows me to tidy up specific areas. I don't want to tidy anything up. I like messy things, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. When we come over the page now in the magazine, again, if I just pop this out the road a wee second, shuffle everything about a bit here. Scratch back. Using a pair of scissors, you can scratch off some of the paint to create effective scales through the paint. So you can see that here. So I would like to do a bit of that, and also I actually want to scratch in the gills as well. I am not going to use a pair of scissors though. I feel like that's a little bit brutal. I want something finer than that, and I'm going to use the end of a compass for that. Because it's got this, it is pointy, but it's not brutal, but it's quite fine. So I don't want to go crazy with this, but I do want to scratch in the gills there. Now, of course, underneath here is orange, so even when that's held up against, you know, a light surface, it's still looking dark because this layer of paint on the back, and that was exactly why I did it, because I wanted this to stand out regardless of what surface this frame is going to be sitting up against. Kind of hard to work your way through a lot of that, truthfully. Have a bit of an issue knowing when to stop with stuff like this. So I think that that purple area should be my sort of cut off. This is the next step, says then I flip the glass. So this is, you know, the part we've basically already done this. It says when you're happy, slide him into the frame and find him a non-aquatic home. You can see how good he looks on the shelf in my office. And it really does, like, looks really professional. And that is the last page of the tutorial. Just before I put this together and show you the finished item, I am going to give this glass a clean because my fingers have been everywhere. Look at the state of this desk. It's an absolute riot. This is only part of it, I promise you. I'm just going to try and, like, work my way around on both sides at the same time, like, simultaneously. Because obviously I need to be careful to not take the actual paint off. Because that would be an issue. Try and hold it by the edges. I have found the best thing for this is microfiber cloths. I've got a huge thing for microfiber cloths, and I think it's Papa Gem's influence, honestly. Papa Gem has a bit of an issue with shiny surfaces, and he gets like kind of fixated on them. I might actually give this to Papa Gem to clean. The thing is, if you're really clever, you can keep your thumbprints and your fingerprints round the outside, and then they'll actually be covered by the frame. This one's even worse. I think the next time I do one of these, and I'm being serious when I say this, I am going to do another one because I've got another one in the pack and I've got an idea for it already. When I do the other one, I'm going to wear gloves. That is categorically happening. Right, okay, so here we go. Here's a little moment of truth for you. Let's pop this down on top of the original sketch, and you can see these background layers are just coming through nicely. That will be more apparent when it's actually in the frame, but if I pop down this top layer now and line it up, we've got this lovely extra little layer of something that just kind of like tickles it perfectly. So now I'm going to slide this into the frame, and it's going to have to go in the slot. I'm going to have to put the slot at the top for obvious reasons. But I'm just going to grab this and slot them in. And there we have it. It's really difficult to show the dimension on camera, but if I tilt it there, you can see the layers. Like the back layer is really, really faint. You know, that back layer of paint is really, really faint because it's furthest away, and then obviously the one on the front here. I'm actually really happy with how this has turned out, and I'm definitely going to be doing another one of these. It's incredibly good fun. Once you get going with it, I'll just turn around. I can show you the back now actually as well. So the back's a very different story, but it just helps to add a lot of dimension to this finished piece. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. I've had great fun. I've really been looking forward to this, and it's been a bit epic, but I'm glad that I've done it, and I'm glad that I've experienced this. If you get the chance to try this, even if you didn't get the Artful box and you've got some of these markers, I would highly recommend trying to get some of these frames on Amazon. I'll leave the link to the ones that I bought down in the description so that you can go and check it out for yourself, because this is really good fun. And you know, the beauty of this as well is, see if you don't like it or something goes wrong, you can wipe it off and start again. So it really is a risk-free way of doing stuff. So that is it for today, guys. I want to thank you very much for watching. Thanks for coming and hanging out. It's been quite a busy little week this week with our live stream and everything. I will see you back in the cave on Thursday for our new colouring project in one of Hannah Carlson's books. So have a great day, everyone, and bye bye for now. Blub, 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 blub.